I wanted to welcome you in to talk about numeration for mental stability and how we can use numeration, numbers, numerology, all of these sacred sciences involving numbers, because I know that there are a lot of numerical systems, metaphysical systems or systems. How can we use that to heal?
Let me first clarify. Thank you to your audience and everyone that's on this platform. I'm humbled. And I respect and honor every one of you. Just want to let everybody clarify that numerology is an African science, and please know that Pythagoras went and studied for numerous years outside of Greece. He went to India, he went to Kemet, he went to the Chaldeans of the darker hue people, and then came back, like I said on your last broadcast, and became, quote unquote, the father of numbers or numerology. And numerology only means the study of numbers. Keep it simple. Any form of using numbers is numerology from a simple perspective. And numbers work behind the scenes. So whether you use it or not, numbers always going to work behind the scenes. So it doesn't require anybody to believe in it. Y'all believe in the GPS and numbers are working behind that right now. We believe in the computer, numbers are working behind that. Every phone that I picked up or ever had in my life always had numbers and sequences and patterns in the back of it to let you know. Even the calculator that I have and all the books to keep order. You have the ISBN code to keep order, to keep things in order, to show that there is a language behind the scene. Whether you believe it or not, I'm not here to convince you to believe anything, because I know it worked, because it has worked for numerous people throughout history. It has worked for astrologers, because you need a birthday to find out the person's numbers. You need the person's numbers to find out the astrology. Let's keep it simple. So they're like family here. And one thing I love about one of my teachers, Lloyd Strayhorn, he blended the best of two worlds of astro and numerology and brought the astrology to it. I touch on it too, but this particular book, I wanted to stay firmly on the numbers and show you how they can be an easy guiding system, a GPS, that guiding positioning system, and triangulate what's happening in your life to help you either avoid the obstructions and become more constructive. Or again, if it's up to you, if you want to be complacent, that's totally up to you, family. Remember, comfort is the enemy of progress. And numerovation was created as a love child from myself and studying patterns and sequences due to what has happened in my own family, from people taking their own life, people going through depression, myself going through depression at one point of time. And every time that I went through these particular depressions, and it's in the book, I was under one of those mental numbers. So numerology helps you to study patterns, cycles, sequences to help bring order to your life.
Thank you for that, by the way. And shout out to everyone in the Lioness Den. People want to know how to follow our brother King Simon. You go over to King Simon Productions. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. We didn't talk about birthdays. We talked about names and numerology. We talked about, well, we're still talking about numerovation, right, for mental stability. So let's talk about events. Let's talk about events. Can you please tell me what was going on numerically on January the 6th, 2021, when these white supremacist terrorists stormed the U.S. Capitol with impunity, by the way?
January 6th, 2021. Now, what's so interesting about that, again, it adds up to a number 3, because January 6th plus 2021 adds up to 2028. And 2 plus 2 plus 8, that equals that number 12. 3 is the number of recklessness, scandals, and all that type of stuff that they was doing over there. But remember, we're in 2021, coming out of 2020, which was all things to see. You know, everybody like to say 2020 is just the visionary number and all that. But again, on the dual side of 2020 coming into 2021, that also represents the number 5 energy, which is also the number of being reckless. It's also the number of disasters. one thing about the number 5. If you broke down the numerology of disaster in both systems, because I don't just use Pythagorean, I use Pythagorean, I use Chaldean, it adds up to the number 5 when you break it all down to the number 5. And 5 is the number of disasters and what they're doing. And because that day, we know it was a secret thing. It's very secret. 1 plus 6 equals 7. That is the alignment of that day was a 7, which was the secretive thing that they did and the secret plan that they initiated and plotted. And this was all about America's bullcrap. That's all that's about. That's all about their rituals that they want to put out there, because it was a ritual. It was a ritual, because if people that was studying gematria and putting all that out, they were putting out all the ritualistic pictures of the past about the man in the horn and people attacking those different types of things back in the day. This was already a picture written on in the art of Europe already. They already had this, so they know what they're doing every time they do it. It's just that we and I'm gonna be respectful. We entertain too much of their madness. Because this is a society of they paying for attention. They need attention from us. If we didn't pay them no attention and did what we have to do, a lot of this stuff would stop. A lot of the craziness would stop. That's why I really respect what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trying to do. Separate us. Get us away from this madness. We have to get away from this, because things like that's going on in society is really white folks stuff. It's not our stuff. It's not us. None of that stuff is us. So we need to get back or connect with Africa or do something. I love what Stevie Wonder's doing. He going back to Ghana to say, I love what Stevie's doing. And he's in his number 5 personal year. He's about to go, and 5 deals with travel and movement. I love it. So going back to that, it's like, yo, sis, I'm never that caught up in that stuff no more. Because it just causes me to, and causes many people to go down the nervous tension, and causes us to become low vibratory people to the point we start catching these diseases and ailments that they're throwing out there from the whatever's going on with this plan. Anything. I don't even want to say the name. A reset. Whatever's going on with this, I don't even pay attention to that, because like Dr. Khalid said, whose birthday was January the 12th, he said, all of us are saints, saviors, soldiers, scholars, healers, and killers. Every one of us out here. But there's certain times that we got to have our saints doing what they do, our saviors doing what they do, our soldiers doing what they do, our scholars doing what they do, our healers do what they do, and the killers is always on the bottom, because they're the invisible ones. We're talking too much on here, and that's why Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in the day used to tell Malcolm X and all of the ministers, be careful of that camera out there. Be careful of this camera that we're on. That's why I don't say too much what I know and what I don't know, because Jade, I used to know somebody back in the day that can go to a